What's up guys, today I just want to have a quick chat to you about cash on deliver orders with Doordash. I'm going to explain what it is and then the exploit. If you just want to make as much money as you can out of cash and deliver orders and kind of hit it and quit it from there. But my biggest thing is that I've got an issue with cash on deliver orders with Doordash. I've got a big issue with it. Doordash made a slip up in Australia. They turned cash and delivery on as an option for deliveries, and it was hit immediately with severe feedback from the driver community saying, no, we don't want this. This shit does not fucking fly in Australia, mate. And within 24 hours, they turned it off. It was done. It was gone. Maybe they thought they could slip it in and get away with it, but as soon as drivers noticed it, especially myself, I was straight onto the community boards and the Facebook groups. I said, hey, this is cash and delivery. This is how it works. And the community spoke for itself. We don't want it here. We don't want to deal with it. So for those at home playing catch up, what is cash on delivery and how does it work? What is it? What is it, mate? Tell me more about it. Okay, so let's run through cash on delivery. So this is where the customer is paying cash to the driver for their food. So an order goes through via Doordash. The merchant gets paid by Doordash. Okay, keeping up here. The merchant gets paid by Doordash, but the customer has not paid on their application at this point. So Doordash then puts a negative balance to the cost of the food on the driver's earnings account. And hold your questions to the end, guys. I'll explain it through a little bit further, especially those but what if scenarios. But then we'll move into the exploit on how to make hundreds of dollars per day abusing cash on delivery. But hang in with me, just got to explain it first. So if a negative balance on the driver's earnings account, the driver takes the order on and they head across to the customer, and the customer needs to pay cash. So the driver gets the cash for the food, which is to offset their negative earnings on their driver account. So let's move into the what ifs. What if the customer doesn't pay? Well, if the customer doesn't pay, you don't give them the food. But if you give them the food, you give the customer the food, you're like, oh, here's your pizza, mate. Yeah, it's all good. Either you don't collect the cash directly as a driver, or you just forgot there's a cash on delivery job. Well, your earnings balance on your Doordash earnings as a driver is deducted already from that. So you've got to play catch up to earn that money back. You don't get the money back if you don't collect the money and give them the food. Now, if they don't have the money and you don't give them the food, you take the food back and say, sorry, mate, no, you got to pay for your food, right? If you do that and you take it back to the car, then you got to go through the admin process with Doordash where it's like, well, customer didn't pay, spend 5 minutes on the phone with them or in chat, web chat messages, like they're typing away on the little Android that you have, typing away at that stuff to try and get that balance rescinded. Do you keep the food? Well, yeah, you keep the food in that situation. Cool, yeah, you got some free food. Awesome. But what if on the scenario where the customer has money, but just not enough money and they're shortchanging you? Well, they're shortchanging you, mate. Like you give them the food, you take the money or whatever they offer for it, and then you got to contact Doordash like they shortchanged and chase down getting reimbursed for it. More admin time wasted. Let alone the expectation that you need to have a float of money, so you need to be able to break notes down. You need to be able to provide change to the customer if you're doing cash on delivery. Which leads us into the admin aspect for doing cash on deliveries, which means you need to have a float of cash. So you need to have cash on standby to break down notes and give change to customers. You can't just show up to customers' places and be like, sorry mate, don't have any change, or just keep that note. Doesn't work that way, guys. You're not allowed to do that. The customer can ask for change. If you cannot provide it, that's a problem. So you need to have that float organized on your admin side, which is a waste of time that you're not paid for at all. And the worst comes from the worst people in society, which are people who are like, oh, delivery drivers have got money on them. Well, what if I place an order and then rob them for the change? This is an increased risk to drivers being robbed on the job. It's something we don't want to deal with. We don't want to deal with doing change with customers. We don't want to deal with chasing down payment from customers. Be like, come on, you got to pay. Come on, man, pay me the money for the food. And you don't want to get fucking robbed on the job, dude. Imagine that, pull up someone's place and they pull a knife on you. They're like, yeah, come on, mate, give us what you got. Now we'll take that pizza too. But give us the money. We want the money as well. The jobs pay no more than a normal delivery job. And as 2024 is a digital platform, if the customer can't pay via the digital platform with their credit card or gift cards or whatever they got, to secure the payment to the merchant. It should not be the driver's liability to chase up the money. It's just not on. So if it's not obvious by now, I am not a fan of cash on delivery. I'm not a fan of the program. I do not want this to roll out in Australia at all. And I'm hoping, for the sake of the Americans tuning in and watching, that they roll this back, because I'm just going to show you how to completely exploit it. I'm going to put the exploit out there, and DoorDash can deal with it because they've got a faulty product. They know it. They know it's not good, and they know it's an abuse of drivers. And I'm going to show drivers how to abuse it if they want to make a hell of a lot of money fast. And precursor, guys, on how to exploit cash on delivery, well, it's against your contract. So if you are looking to do this, you are looking not to work for DoorDash anymore. This is like your final hurrah, your last Hail Mary. So on that football, going for the goal line. I don't know, gridiron references, like throw it over and try and get the goal with something like a touchdown, yeah, roll tide, whatever you guys say over there. Trying to use a football analogy. But this is your last throw, your last hurrah with DoorDash, because you're breaching terms of service, you're breaching everything, and you're going to get caught out and you're going to get deactivated from the platform. But you might as well make a couple of grand before you do. So the exploit is simple. If you have $0 on your current earnings for your DoorDash account, when you do a cash on delivery, it goes negative balance. Oh, negative doesn't sound very good, but just remember, you've collected the cash from the customer for that food order. And the theory on how DoorDash wants you to work the apps is to, do more deliveries, and then your delivery driver pay increases that negative balance to +0 again. And over time, it moves back into positive integers. But what if you only accepted cash on delivery orders and it kept going negative further and further while you're collecting cash from the customer? What if you turned cash on delivery on and declined every single order that wasn't cash on delivery? Maybe your account balance goes down to negative $400, $500, $600 across a 12-hour day. And your account balance can keep going further and further into the negatives. So the question that it comes down to is simple. If you only accepted cash on deliveries and your account just went into the negatives, but you're collecting cash for all the merchant's costs on the food, you're going to rack up hundreds of dollars very quickly. But the negative balance doesn't go negative against your bank account. DoorDash doesn't charge your bank account the missing balance or anything like that. It just keeps going further and further negative. You're actually doing the physical deliveries, you're completing the deliveries, customers are happy, your completion rate's not going down. Sure, your AR's dropping fast because you're only taking on COD orders. The customers are probably rating good as well. So you're hitting all the metrics for a good driver, except your earnings balance is going further and further down negative because you're collecting the cash that the restaurant should be getting. But it's not bad because DoorDash has already paid the restaurant, so the restaurant isn't hurting. It's just the money that you should be paying back to DoorDash, and the way they've calibrated it is well, you'll earn it back from doing deliveries. Now, if there's a lot of cash on delivery jobs in your area, how many hundreds per day could you make going negative balance and keeping the cash? Maybe over a month, you only do cash and deliveries. How many thousands across a month could you make? So that's the exploit, guys. You only do cash and deliveries, you run negative balance on your driver account, but you're still collecting cash for the value of the food from the restaurant, and eventually you'll get negative $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, negative $10,000 very quickly. And what's the worst that's going to happen here, guys? DoorDash deactivates your account? Well, you're already on the way out. You're doing your last Hail Mary, your last throw towards the touchdown field, and you're out of the game. You don't want to be in it anymore. So this is how you destroy earnings with a DoorDash before you leave the game. So DoorDash, cash on delivery, you are a tech company. You should be having customers pay before they place the order instead of putting that risk and them situations on drivers. So that's the exploit, guys. Does that make sense to you? Could you rack up hundreds, if not thousands of dollars per week? And guys, to pick your brains on this one, how many people do you think are already doing this? It's not a contract violation, they're completing the deliveries. Their account's just going negative balance. And there's no limit to how far that balance can go. They're not breaching any rules, they're still completing the deliveries. You know what? There's probably a couple of people out there right now saying, Chris, shut up. You're blowing it for me. I'm negative $30,000 on DoorDash earnings right now, and I've been milking this for a while. How dare you blow the operation? But that's it, guys. That's the COD exploit. Only take cash on delivery orders, run your account balance into the negatives. You're collecting all the cash for the deliveries, so DoorDash can't take the cash back off you or withhold your balance. You got the cash, dude. and you're running gravy. I don't want to see cash on delivery roll out in Australia, and over in America, I know you guys are getting abused by it right now, so hopefully DoorDash does something about it. But that's today's rant, guys. Hopefully you're having a good one. Keep driving safe out there. If you are on that last Hail Mary on your way out, well, you know, there's a door. There's an option for you. Otherwise, it is unethical. It is unethical to do, and you know what? You're doing the wrong thing by doing it. But hey, if you do it, you're going to get deactivated. Otherwise, you're going to quit by yourself. DoorDash, just turn off cash on delivery. It's a crap program.